What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 118 or 119. I don't know. I don't remember which one this is. It's 118 or 119 of Stinks and a Fat Man. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Before we go any further, this episode is sponsored by, let's see here. Who's it sponsored by? Look at that. Oh, it's gone now. Rep to Chip. Rep Chip is best cocoa in the fucking business. JT, best guy to buy from in the business. All right. Buy from original veteran owned Rep to Chip. They've been around the longest. They're the best. And listen, your other crap just can't hold a candle to it. So go check them out at reptochip.com. All right. Who's next? All right. Fucking Charlie, a Gray Rider. This is the guy, right? Like Charlie, he was on Proper Royals last Tuesday, going head to head with RGI. Nice to know that a guy in a garage could cause such a disruption for a company that's had basically hundreds of thousands of dollars put into it. So everybody, all hail Charlie. If you need to get anything tested, you know where to go. Go to shedtesting.com. Charlie will kill it and get it back to you within, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks. All right. I'm not saying nothing, but RGI is still taking like a month and a half. So, all right. Shedtesting.com. Go check them out. And Chimera. All right. Chimera. They're like one of the biggest names in the hobby. Chimera is killing it. And they do consulting to help you handle all your pairings and everything else that you do. They'll basically put together breeding plans for you. They'll look at what you have. They'll recommend what to keep and what to hold back, what to sell. Like business for most ball python people suck, but it doesn't suck for Chimera right now. So go check them out at chimerareptile.com. And I think on Instagram, it's the same thing, Chimera Reptile. Speaking of Chimera, we're going to have Molly on from Chimera tomorrow night on Fatman Live on the Hot Chick Show. So I hope everybody comes to see that. After, I'm also doing the lamest chat, I think, tomorrow. We're working on kind of importing the lamest chat and porting it over to our channel. So we're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks, and I'm excited about that. But go visit chimerareptile.com if you want any type of business advice, because they're the guys to go to. All right, first of all, while I'm remembering it, go fucking smash the like button's mom. Fucking hit the fucking subscribe button, sister, if you are new here. And if you end up liking what you see at this show, join the Patreon family, because we're doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff here strictly for Patreon members. And if you're part of the Patreon team, you'll actually have access to contests that are just for you guys and not for the general public. So I think that's really all I got to announce right now, right? I mean, I don't know. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's here and wants the validation. Okay, look at Shauna Corner. Shauna Corner, all right, is actually running the backstage now. Okay, so she's killing it. She's doing great. So don't start a pay Shauna thing, because it's not going to happen. We'll figure out something to get her a little cash every week. NKSZ Reptiles, what's up, brother? Thank you for coming. I don't know if you're a brother or a woman. Dude, Demonic, what's up, man? Demonic, DM me. I want to still get you on 15 minutes. LMK, what's up, Ken Dog? Thank you for stopping by. DNA Reptilia, that's my boy who used to show up at all the Zoom calls. We're going to be doing the Zoom calls again, but the Zoom calls are only going to be for the Patreon people. So, and it's going to be done through Discord, I think. So, but we're going to be starting those up in about 2 or 3 weeks. Josh Bradsher, what's up, Josh? Thank you for coming. Look, fucking Acacia ball pythons. What's up, Acacia? How are you? Oi, fucking A. My boy Charlie, who's already campaigning for the 15 minutes contest this year. So everybody, all hail fucking Charlie. Okay. He's already killing it. So let's see. Is there anybody else? I don't know. It can't be just that many, right? Gecko Diva, my girl Crystal is here. Okay. Thank you for popping by, Crystal. Even though I didn't wake up early enough on Sunday to catch your show last week, so I'm sorry about that. Jason Phillip, what's up, brother? How are you doing? Thanks for coming. Shannon, fucking hot Shannon. What's up, fucking hot Shannon? Probably driving the truck while she's listening to us or watching us. VIP Morse, what's up, Gerald? I will see you tomorrow evening. Okay. Um, Sack Exotics. This dude has my favorite name in the fucking chat. Fucking Sack. Royal Black Balls. What's good, fucking Shamir, man? We gotta do something and get together one time soon. Will's hella heat, popping in. He's still pimping that podcast bullshit, huh? Like that's never gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna really do anything. Sky High Morphs. What's up, Brian and Holly? I appreciate you guys coming on. And look, our boy Sammy the Bull Vargas. Fucking Sammy's the 15 minutes guest today, and I'm really excited to have Sammy on. So I appreciate you, Sammy, for fucking coming on, and hope you rock the 15 minutes thing. Okay, so one thing I do want to talk about is Arya, Steve and Jenny. Okay, um, they're having some problems right now. Jenny basically lost her job, but she lost her job and then she had to take care of her dad who had cancer. He's since passed away, but they're just going through some shit, and they could use our help. And there's a link right underneath in the show notes where you guys could help out Steve and Jenny with their GoFundMe. And I actually think that you should help them out because I think the Aria group got like 13,000 members on it, and they do shit every day to keep all you reptile fucking pigs entertained. And they're just nice people, man. They're fucking good people. They need a little help. I donated to the GoFundMe yesterday. All these people that helped me out when I had the GoFundMe going and set up for me really came through. So what I'm asking is, I'll pay it forward, and if you guys could donate to Steve and Jenny's GoFundMe, I know that they would appreciate it because they didn't even want me to like announce it. They I mean. They're like, listen, we don't want to just announce this whole thing. We don't want to spread it out to the world. But I think that with like 20,000 area members, give them like if they get $1 each, they'll get 20 grand and they'll blow away their goal. Okay, so help out the people that help you. Help out Steve and Jenny. I would appreciate it. I know a ton of other people would appreciate them. Because they're you're basically using something that they put together every day, and the cost of that, if it's $1 a day or $1 for the last year and a half, 2 years it's been in existence, and all you got to do is donate $1 or $5 or whatever you can. It's fucking worth it, man, because these people, they're some of the people that actually hold the community together. Yeah, Shannon even says Steve does for everyone, so it's time that we do a little bit for Steve. Okay, that's all I'm saying, and Jenny. So Jenny's still like in physical therapy, I think, from a car accident that she got into. So it's very it's fucked up, man. So you could donate. Like I said, even if it's $1 or $5 or whatever, just fucking do it already. Okay. That's really like my only announcement. I don't have a lot to bitch about today. One thing I want to announce is that we're bringing back the shitting on series on the Patreon, where I shit on different ball python genes, but in funny ways. So don't get all butthurt if fucking I'm shitting on a project that you're into. And I'm very excited to get that going. Also, something else that I'm very excited for is me and Paulie Bag of Donuts are going to the the Connecticut Bigfoot and Alien Abductee Convention next Saturday. Okay, so if you guys are in Connecticut, go to this thing. It's in Trumbull. It's at the Marriott. Dude, it's gonna be a fun time, and I'm way excited. But like, I won't go to Tinley while I'm in this wheelchair, right? But I'll definitely go to a fucking Bigfoot and UFO abductee conference that's 45 minutes away from me in this wheelchair. So me and Paulie are looking forward to that. If you guys are in the area, make sure you show up. So one thing I do want to say is this episode is also brought to you by Herps. That's Herps Exotic Pet Expo. Fucking if Shauna could bring up that ad, please, I would appreciate it. Let's see. All right, we're running behind a little bit. All right, it's our first time. All right, it's our first time. No, never mind. I'll do it, Shauna. All right, there we go. All right. They're going to be in Conroe, Texas on June 8th and June 9th. They're going to be in Longview, Texas on June 22nd and 23rd. They're going to be in Slidell, Louisiana on July 20th and 21st. They're going to be in Sulphur, Louisiana on July 27th and 28th. They're going to be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on August 3rd and 4th. They're going to be in Corpus Christi, that's Texas, on August 10th and 11th. They're going to be in Bryan, that's College Station out there in Texas, on August 17th and 18th. And they're going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on August 24th and 25th. Listen, go to herbshow.net and, if you have any questions for them, but they're the best local run reptile show circuit in the country. Okay. I mean, everybody loves Sean and Lori. So go to herbshow.net and tell them what a great job they're doing. And also, man, I feel like we're doing a lot of commercials. Clutch. All right. Fucking Clutch. Okay. Best ball python management software out there. Okay. It does things that Husbandry Pro doesn't do. I mean, Husbandry Pro does things that they don't do either. But fucking this, if you got a ball python collection, you want to use Clutch because the interface is great, the user experience is great. Everything about Clutch is awesome. They got a ton of new features that they just announced. I'm not going to get into it because, to be honest, I don't use Clutch. Okay, I don't have any ball pythons, so there is no need for me to use Clutch. But if I were to get back into ball pythons, and let's say I got 3 or 4 of them right off the bat, I would immediately import them into Clutch. Because, like Canova is like Apple, right? Like anytime you use anything from him or get anything from him, it just works. Okay. So that's CLTCH.io. Okay. Go check out Clutch. I think that Justin would appreciate it. You know what? Fuck it. Timothy, dropping the $5. Thank you, brother. If you guys feel like sending a super chat, fucking help me eat. Fucking help me get places I can't get with this leg. Help me. I don't care if you do super chats or not. It doesn't matter, man. I'd appreciate it, but it doesn't matter. But do a super chat if you want your question up on the screen. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate it. And let's start some shit right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Fatman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
What's up, guys? It's Justin at Canova. For the past 5 years, 15 Minutes of Lame has become a launch pad for so many new successful breeders and a badge of honor in this industry. It's been so amazing to watch the passion and dedication you guys have and to watch your businesses grow. Just remember, the next me might be you.
15 Minutes of Lame!
Look at this. Look who I got here. This pink shirt wearing motherfucker. Sammy the Bull Vargas from Bull Pythons. What's up, brother?
Not bad. Hanging in there.
Not bad. Hanging in there. Fucking you are you Italian or are you some kind of Spanish?
Spanish. Puerto Rican.
You're Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Ah, Those are my people.
I was born in New York, in the Bronx.
Where in the Bronx?
I was the Lincoln Hospital.
Oh, okay. I was born in Einstein. Okay, so over there on Pelham Parkway. So,
Back in
Sammy,
42.
welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
You're putting out some great shit, and wanted everybody to kind of know about you. So you basically know how this thing works. You got 15 minutes to pimp your shit, and that's going to start right now. So right off the bat, bull pythons.
Yep.
Anything might be a little confusing.
Yeah, but everybody knows me now. So that was my nickname when I was growing up. They used to call me the bull. So when I got into snakes, I said, instead of calling it ball python, I'll change it to bull python. And then,
right.
My other shirts had the real big bull with the horns like snakes.
Right.
And then I changed it to this year. So
and you really embraced the pink this year, huh?
Yeah, pink is beautiful. It brings the love on everybody.
I got you. That's bringing the love. Okay. Now, how long have you been doing this?
I started in 2021 of October.
All right, so you're a COVID baby.
Yep.
Okay.
Dragged me right in. I was sitting home watching TV and kept telling my wife I could do it, and then just met somebody that had a lot of snakes and just went nuts after that. Then
what made you want to do it?
The challenge. I used to breed birds, and then I used to hand feed everything. So the snakes look a little easier.
Watching YouTube during COVID.
Yeah. So my wife said watching YouTube during COVID, and I like the colors. I like the pies. And then I used to have a lot of birds that were different colors, like pies and everything. So when I got rid of all the birds, I said I'm just gonna do snakes.
You went head first into snakes. Did you take the money from the birds and invest that into snakes, so it just went like a lateral move from hobby to hobby?
A little bit from the birds, and then I put a lot of money of my own that I had saved up during COVID. I was really busy. I do construction, flipping houses and all that, and that was pretty busy. So,
okay. So, and obviously you're treating this like a business, right? You're not treating it like a hobby.
I'm having fun, so I can't.
Right.
When I first started, I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna make it into a business," but it's hard work to make it into a business. I was buying shit that I didn't know about. So right. I said, well, I'll give myself 5 years, and then I'll have fun for 5 years. I'll do what I want to do, and then I'll switch over and make it into a business.
Gotcha. So for now, you're just keeping it as a hobby and keeping the day job, right?
Yeah. I got to keep my day job because I like going to all the shows and all that. So snakes, right. I sell snakes and I buy more snakes. So it's like a round circle.
Do you vend yet or no?
I vent 3 times this year.
Okay, what shows did you vend this year?
I went to Springfield, Mass, and I went to what was the other place I went to? I forgot the name of it now.
White Plains?
No, I went to White Plains just to walk around. I went to Joy.
Yeah.
What was the other place I went to?
For what?
For the first snake show?
In Mass, right?
No, I went to Mass, and then I went to the other one. It was in
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Oh, the New England Reptile Expo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my first show, and then I got invited up there, but then the lady didn't have enough room to put all my snakes. My wife bought me the big pink logo. So Tyler, the parents were bending up there, and they said, "You need a little spot." I go, "Yeah." So they gave me a little corner and started having fun.
Gotcha.
I love talking to people, mangling and all that, and just, I made a little bit of money. I paid for the show. I paid for traveling, and then I took that money and bought more snakes.
Well, that's one of the normal questions. Like, since you started doing this, how much have you put into it versus how much have you gotten out of it yet?
I can't say nothing because my wife's standing right here, and she's gonna kick my ass if I say something.
Okay. I'll throw out a number. You tell me if it's lower or higher, okay?
Well, I'll tell you right now. My first 32 snakes, I spent like 35,000 on my first
Okay.
32 snakes.
Okay. And
And
that's just on the snakes. It's not on the enclosures or
yeah, I bought the enclosure, I bought incubators and everything else, but
right. And how much have you made back?
not much. Whatever I make, I buy more snakes. So
Right. Well, the
I
thing is
made
that
like maybe like $5,000-$6,000, and I just bought some more snakes this year. I'm gonna be doing calico. I got it. I love the calico gene.
right.
I bought a whole bunch of females and males calicos. I'm trying to be the first one to make. I bought a pastel calico DG,
Mm-hmm.
the male, and then the females a calico enchi. Pastel calico enchi DG. So if I got them growing up, I'll try to make Desert Ghost calico.
Right, right. Well, listen, thanks, John's Creatures, for the super chat, showing some love to the pink shirt guy. So what will you say the ratio is from working your day job to working the snakes? Like obviously you're probably learning at this point the snakes take a lot more work than a day job would probably take, right?
Yeah, because you got to grow them up. You got to worry about who's not eating. And like I said, I was here like 5 hours cleaning in bins.
8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, 8 to 10 hours. I get in. I got rats. I got rats at home that build a big room for my rats. That way I could feed my snakes because it was starting to get a little expensive.
Right.
So I every day I come and check out the snakes, especially when I got snakes laying eggs.
So you have a facility then?
I got a small room at my daughter's house. I took over the garage.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm going to transfer everything, hopefully by August, to my house. I'm letting all the females lay the eggs, whoever goes. And then I'm going to move everything to my house. I built a room 25 feet long by 15 feet wide. And, I've been producing a lot of good snakes.
Right.
So instead of selling them, I'm keeping them to make my project better.
Right. Right.
You know?
It's a growing year, right?
Yeah. Like last year was my first year breeding last year, and I bred 8 snakes. I got 7 clutches.
Right. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean that's so. How many snakes do you have total at the house right now?
Right now, I got about 85.
Okay.
Maybe 30 grown-up females and maybe 10 males grown up. The breed.
Right.
I'm growing up about another 15 babies that I kept over. And plus buying babies too. So
right.
I got 15.
So you're not done buying yet. You're still like a guy that just keeps going.
Yeah, not even close. Not even.
That's not even in the plan, right? To stop buying. Right. Yep.
I mean, I kind of put on the brakes on a couple of snakes that I wanted. It's just tight budget. So.
Right. Well, what's the most expensive snake you got in the collection right now?
It was pastel. A black pastel red stripe fire clown. He cost me 2 years ago. He cost me $3,800. And I bought a panda just to have a black and white snake, and he was $3,600.
That's nice. John's Creatures must know me because he's already making handicap leg jokes. All right, that's cool. All right, it's cool, John's Creatures. All right.
Then I bought the lightning pie. A Xanthic, and he was $3,600.
Okay.
So I bet him this year, and just to make heads, and he gave me 6 eggs, and I went half with BNS Chris.
Right.
And we got six eggs, and there should be hatching July 3rd.
Okay. So you don't sound like a guy that came into this with a business plan. You kind of just came into it having fun and kind of doing what you want, right?
Yeah. I didn't come in. I just came in full blast and just started buying shit that I like, and then learning every year about the different genes. I didn't like the clowns. I had bought all pies.
Right.
White snakes. Now I'm starting to get into the clowns, the lightning pies, and MJ, and then I got into. Then I'm now getting into the calico.
Right.
one of my expensive snakes that I bought this year. There's calico, so she's a leopard pie clown calico.
Okay. All right, good. Well, all right, let's talk a couple of sponsors here. Now you know where we're going with this. Now, number one, do you use ReptiChip?
Yes, I work for Eric, and I know JT. So
Right. All right.
so,
All right. That's a good thing you said that because I realized Eric is a ReptiChip distributor. So,
Yeah.
all right. So JT and Eric does not give you a fuck you. So that's awesome.
yeah,
Now, have you ever had a shed test done with Charlie?
not yet, but I'm on my way.
Oh,
But I
not
sent
good
him
enough.
money. He's got money holding it. I sent him. He was doing like the metal logos.
right.
I sent him some money, and then he goes, "Oh, I can't do it. I'll send him the money." I said, "No, keep it because I'm gonna have some snakes that I want to shed test and everything. So I'm gonna be sending you. Just put it in the bank. I don't need it."
Okay. So Charlie does not give you a fuck you either because he has your money. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's perfect. Now, do you have a sea serpent's rack in your house?
Yes, I do. The incubator.
There you go. Chris Nettles does not give you a fuck you. He
No.
gives you a happy little thumbs up guy.
And I
Okay.
bought some racks for him too for my babies.
There you go. Okay.
He's a
Have
great.
you ever bought a reptile from Nerd?
Nope.
Kevin McCurley gives you a big old fuck you. Have
Thank
you ever bought a snake from Justin?
Nope.
Oh, Justin gives you a big old fuck you. Okay. So I'm guessing that you don't use clutch either then.
Nope. I use blue tape.
Blue like pen, just a pen and paper.
I'm a carpenter, so all my snakes, I got blue tape on them. I write the genes and
Yeah.
that's it.
All right, fair enough. Okay. Have you ever been to a Herps Exotic Reptile Expo?
Herps? I don't think so. No, I've been to Tinley. I've been to Tinley twice. I've been to Dallas this year. I've been to the big shows, so no Herps. No.
Sean and Lori give you a big old fuck you too. Okay. Now here's one here. I think you'll do good on this one. Do you use Redline shipping?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, good deal. Robin does not give you a fuck you. Okay. Now
Shipped a whole bunch of snakes from Dallas to Connecticut. And I used them at the show this year at Dallas.
well, yeah. They're I mean, Redline is just the tits in this fucking hobby. Now where is Bull Python's gonna be in 5 years?
Hopefully, I'll be. Then I'll take it serious, and then I'll start breeding for to try to make some good snakes and go to shows and make money.
In 5 years.
In 5 years, I got
Oh.
two. I've been in it. I've been breeding 2 years. This is my second year, so I got another 2 years, and then hopefully by the 5th year, I'll have all the snakes that I'm looking for, and then start producing some real good snakes.
Right. Okay. All right. Now I hear your wife in the back. I saw her arm.
Mhm.
Obviously, she helps you with the whole thing.
Yep, she helps me a lot. When I go away, she rather take care of the rats than do the snakes. She don't do snakes.
Oh, gross. Okay. All right.
But, my granddaughter, she's 6 years old. She helps my my wife take care of the snakes. She's been playing with the snakes since she was 3 years old, so she's not scared of any snakes or any rats or anything.
Right. Okay. But does she feed the rats to the snakes or no?
She'll hand them to me, and then I'll put them to the snakes. She'll grab them, hand them to me.
Gotcha.
The pups and all that. So
Right. So you're keeping it a family thing. Do you ever see yourself becoming like a Canova and hiring, 5 or 10 people and
Nah, no.
hobby level?
Yeah, just a low key guy.
Right. Well, you don't seem low key with the fucking pink shirts, and
Well, I just want
I
to make
basically see you at every big show. You're there.
I just want to make sure when I walk in the door, everybody sees the pink shirts.
Yeah, no, I think they got it because you went all the way out to Pomona too, right?
Yeah, I was out in Pomona. I went to go visit Billy in Austin down in Canada. I was out there
Right.
for 4 days with the pink shirts. I handed a whole bunch of pink shirts out to the shows. Tinley. I'm going to Florida, in August down to Daytona.
Right.
And I was down there for the first time last year. I handed out a whole bunch of shirts, and then now everybody's starting to know who I am, and I made a lot of friends. Going to shows, talking to everybody, and all that. So, gonna have a big party this year down there.
Good, man. I may actually see you at Daytona this year.
I'll give you a pink shirt. I know you don't want one, but I'm gonna give you one anyway.
Don't want one. Don't want one.
I think you look good in pink, man.
I do not. All right. I'm a fat dude. I don't look good in anything but black. Okay. Where could everybody find you?
I'm on Instagram, Bull Python 44, and then I'm on Facebook, just Sammy Vargas.
Oh, well, it doesn't fucking matter because your time is over, but you really did. You really leaned into that time well. So, Bull Python's 44. I think there's an underscore in there somewhere, right?
Bull Python.
Yeah.
Okay. Where is the underscore?
Underscore 44.
Underscore 44.
Okay, gotcha. All right. What's your wife's name? I'm just
Sure.
hearing her, not seeing her.
Come over here. She don't like going out. She helps me a lot.
Oh, hi,
What's up? What's your name?
Joy.
Joy, do you ever just want to smack them?
All the time.
I thought
Every
so.
day.
Every day, right? Every day. I get it. Well, guys, thank you for coming by and pimping your wares. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the contest. So
I just got a clutch today. A nice clutch. She gave me 9 eggs.
You gave me 9 eggs today. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking A. All right. I'm sure I'll see it on Instagram.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Guys, thank you for being here. And I'll talk to you soon, Sammy. Thank you again.
Okay,
All
I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow. At
Sammy.
I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30.
Yep. I'll be there. All right. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, bye.
He's certainly a nice guy, right? I mean, fucking A. He's definitely a good dude. Definitely is putting some money into it, and I like the guy. Okay, so listen, I know they're expensive, okay, but Stewart Design kills the logo game, and you guys know that you should be working your way up to using Blake Stewart or Stewart Design. He's done Canova, he's done USARC, he's done Cold Blooded Cafe. He's done like Buffalo Wild Wings. He's done some of the Burger King ads. I mean, Blake is big time, and you'll definitely pay for it, but you'll definitely be looked at as somebody who's taking their marketing and everything seriously. So I think that that if you guys do it, if you guys hit that little level of success where you could spend, I don't know, 15 to 30 grand on marketing and design, Blake is the guy to go to. He's also a vet. He's a former Marine, and he's really just a good dude. So go check them out at I think it's Stewart Design Brands. Okay. .com. They're Stewart Design Brands pretty much on everything, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on everything else. Blake Stewart, go check them out. SDidentity.com is one of the domains that he uses also. I mean, Blake is the shit, and I love hanging out with Blake, and any kind of business that we could give to Blake, I would like to give to Blake. So, all right. So we got a guy coming on that I literally for 5 or 6 years just thought I had no hope of having this guy on the show. Okay. Because number one, he's a really nice guy. Number two, he's like a business-oriented guy. And number three, he does frogs, right? So it's not called Frogs and the Fat Man. It's called Snakes and the Fat Man. Although for a time, it was Frogs and the Fat Man for a little bit. So look who I have here, okay? Fucking I have Josh from Josh's Frogs. What's up, brother?
How you doing, Chris?
Oh, living the dream, all right? You
That's
know how
awesome.
it is, all right?
That's awesome. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
No, thank you for coming, man. It's going to be fun. Talk to me about Josh's Frogs, because when did you start Josh's Frogs, and was Josh's Frogs ever just a frog company?
Right. So I guess I'll go way back. We grew up in a by a swamp. So like 2 blocks from our house was a swamp. So my mom would always let us go catch stuff in the swamp. So we'd catch all kinds of frogs and snakes and snapping turtles. And my mom had a rule that you could keep things for one night. So I did that growing up. Like that's what we did. We played in the swamp, the black swamp mud all over us. We were swamp kids up here in Michigan. And I kept some snakes. So I did snakes in high school, ball pythons, boa constrictors. I just was keeping some exotic snakes. My mom was kind enough to let me keep those. And then I went off to college and I sold everything. So get out of college. I am a youth pastor at the time. So I'm in a very extroverted job, working with people like all the time. And I'm seeing a counselor and I'm like, I'm just drained. Like, I can't do this. Like, I can't be an extrovert all the time. And the counselor was like, hey, you need to find a hobby. And I said, well, like I used to keep exotic pets. Maybe I could do that again. And I was married at the time. My wife said, no snakes. She grew up in Africa. So she grew up in Sierra Leone, West Africa. She said, I'm done with snakes. I don't want to see snakes anymore. And so I decided to get some frogs. So it all started by an accident. I got a few frog supplies, sold off the bulk, the excess of that. And I started keeping a few frogs in our apartment. And that's how it started.
And what year was this?
2004. So it'll be 20 years this November.
Okay. So when did you graduate from frogs to everything that you're doing now? And how gradually did it happen?
So 2004, I've got a few frog tanks. I got a bearded dragon, a couple of lizards in this one bedroom of our apartment. So my wife and I are in one room. The animals are in the other room. And it really is just a hobby. So it's a hobby business. The whole point is just to break even. I don't have enough money to scrape together to keep these animals. I'm just selling off excess stuff, keeping the stuff that I need. And I'm starting this little side hustle so that I can have a hobby of collecting these animals. Fast forward a few years, I'm doing my internship. Got my master's in counseling. So I'm going to become a counselor, and my internship falls through. I don't have a job. My internship falls through. The college is like, hey, you got a year before we can get you another internship. And so I'm sitting here with no job and no internship. And I decide like, hey, I wonder if I can take this frog thing and maybe turn it into some type of business that actually just provides some income for our family. So that was in 2007, did that. Finished my internship in 2008, and they offered me a job. They said, your clients show up. Do you want a job? And I was like, you know what? I got one baby at the time, just me and my wife and my son, who's a few months old. I said, hey, I'd like to try this frog thing out. So decided to try that full time, move the business out of my house into a little spot here in Owasso. And we just grew year over year. We just kept adding new product lines, adding new animals, finding new ways to sell them. And so we grew and we grew and we grew. And then we moved from the small building we were in to another building in 2013. And then we kept growing and we kept growing. And then 2020 hit, and it was insane. So we almost doubled that year. So we did about 8.2 million in 2019, and we did 15 million in 2020. So it was like almost like our business doubled overnight in 2020.
Right. Well, that's first of all, you talk really fast. I like that. Right? I fucking like that. Right?
Trying to make a long story short.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Were there like as you started growing the business, were there like frustrations that you found in the business that you could say, okay, that's a pain point that people have. I could overcome that frustration by doing it this way. Were there certain things like that you came across, or was it just like I want to sell cork bark now and I'm going to sell cork bark?
It was super easy all the time, no problems, no issues. I'm just kidding.
Sure. Yeah.
It was like constantly issues and obstacles, things that I didn't know how to do. So like some of the big ones were like, hey, suddenly we had 5 people, then suddenly we had 10 people, then we had 15, and then we had 20 people. And it got to the point where it was like, man, I am bossing a lot of people around, like, and I'm spinning a lot of plates. Like, I can't do this anymore. And I can remember sitting down with a group of like my best employees and saying, okay, we're going to start having managers at Josh's Frogs. So I'm not going to lead everything. Some of you guys are going to lead parts of Josh's Frogs. I remember that being a huge obstacle. Like, I had no idea how to lead managers. I had no clue. We were making it up as we went along. A lot of them had never managed anybody before. So that was a big obstacle. There were all these obstacles about like hey, we got into the bug stuff and started finding out the USDA permitting process. And like, none of us wanted to deal with the bureaucracy of the USDA and trying to figure out like, okay, how do we get permits and how do we become a containment facility? There's all sorts of issues. There's all these issues of like, hey, how do we ship things during the winter when it's really, really cold and hard to ship things for a business that can't take a few months off? We've got, 20, 30, 40 people that need a job. Like we had to figure out how do we ship animals during cold. So yes, it was constantly every couple of weeks, every month, it was a different obstacle, something that seemed almost insurmountable. Like I've never done it before. Don't know how we're going to do this. And there was a lot of those on the road. Yeah. A lot of those.
Well, there had to be a point, right, where normally like a company will become high growth like overnight, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so you would say that COVID was your point for the high growth? I mean, where you basically doubled your sales that year. So you had to have internal struggles, right?
Yeah. So I think the first growth we had was when we moved the business out of my house. So that opened up the opportunity to add employees and have people doing so we experienced a little bit of that 2009. And then, the really big turning point for us, yes, it was definitely 2020 when we started 2020 with 50 people on staff and ended 2020 with almost 80 people. And so like, it wasn't just about like, hey, do I have enough managers for all these people? It became extra layers. Like I needed managers managing managers, and I needed to figure out how I wasn't involved in the day-to-day of everything that was happening in our business. So yes, lots of growing pains, lots of obstacles, lots of trying to figure out how do we do this at a bigger scale.
Did you take on well, I want to talk about scaling in a second. Did you take on investors and all that when you were in the growth stage? Because I'm sure there was projects where you're like, hey, you're going to need $300,000 to in order to have this product available,
So I have never taken on investors ever. And I don't know that was necessarily a choice I made. Like it just never worked out that way. It never happened that way. We were always very lean. We practice what's called open books here at Josh's Frog. So all employees see our financials like all the time. Like we are very open about that. And so it's a lot of communicating like, hey, we have enough money to do this initiative and to expand in these ways. And certain times we're like, nope, we can't do everything that we want to do. Like we've got to scale back and figure out what we got to do. So no, we never took on any investors. We haven't done that yet.
Right. I mean, do you see that being a possibility in the future, or are you guys just riding the wave now where you don't need investors anymore because you're Josh's Frogs, right? So.
I would not say that we don't ever need investors. I really would love to find people that shared kind of the mission that we have and the things that we want to do, and find somebody that was really aligned with that what we want to do. Then yes, I would be entertaining that offer, but that's not something that I think like, hey, stops us from doing what we need to do in the future. Like I feel like when you're growing as a business, it's not just the money that's the issue. A lot of times we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, if I just had an extra $10, I just had an extra $1,000, I could do X, Y, and Z. But like there's all that other stuff that you need to do before you can do that. So it's building people up. It's getting people ingrained in your culture. It's getting people up to speed. It's figuring out how you do things. I think a lot of times those types of things take longer than just slapping some money on a situation and like, hey, like let's do ball pythons next. I just need somebody to give me $100,000 and we can just start ball pythons. Like I just don't think things work that way. We have to start with a few animals, figure things out. We have to do all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, now, ever since like RGI dropped the ball like so hard when it came to scaling, I've been really interested in scaling. Like when was the moment where you're like, all right, we're big enough where, producing 500 frogs a year is not enough anymore. We have to produce 20,000 frogs a year. But like when was that, and what kind of pain points did you hit just doing that?
So on the animal side, so like animals are a small portion of what we do. So animals accounts for like 10% of what we actually do. The bulk of what we do is the stuff that you need to take care of those animals. So animals doesn't necessarily drive our business. It isn't the huge part of our business that we're trying to, predict forecasting and try to breed as many animals as we can. So I'll back up a little bit and say like up through COVID, up through 2020, 2021, it was always an issue of we can never produce enough animals. Like that was always our thing. Like we always sold out. So there were times where animals were a little bit older than we wanted them to be when they finally found their new home, but like it was never an issue of producing too many. That was never an issue until 2021, the end of 2021 into 2022, where we started experiencing like, hey, you know, our hobby's peeling back. We saw some of the polling data. I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, but like 2020, they saw about 5% of U.S. population kept an exotic pet, and that was up from what we guesstimated was 3% pre-pandemic. So our hobby almost doubled. And then I believe the data has come back and rolled that a little bit back, but I think we're back to 3 to 4%. So we lost maybe 20%, maybe 30% of our hobby just disappeared.
Right.
And when I say hobby, I mean people who just keep exotic pets, which is a big group of people compared to what we think of like the people at the shows or the people they're active on Instagram and Facebook that keep animals, like just the hobby in general, people keeping one leopard gecko, one bearded dragon, one snake, like that just shrank drastically. And so we got in a position now where we think more about forecasting, like how many poison dart frogs do we want to produce? How many red-eyed tree frogs do we want to produce? How many leopard geckos do we want to produce? Like we think about that a little bit more heavily now than we did probably prior to that. And that's something that I think that's another one of those obstacles that we struggle with. Like, hey, like how do we forecast what we're going to sell? How do we produce just enough for what we're going to be able to sell retail, what we're going to be able to sell wholesale, what we're going to be able to sell to big box Petco. And
right. Okay. So big box is part of your strategy.
It is. It's anybody who dealt with big box before the pandemic, it's a totally different relationship after a pandemic. They are much more friendly, much more partnership driven than they were pre-pandemic. So I know still a lot of those big boxes had kind of a bad reputation in our hobby, but like they have drastically changed the way in which they're interacting. So like we don't have quotas, so we give them an availability list. We say, hey, here's what we have available this week, and they pick from that. There's no like demands that we have to produce so many animals in a given week.
Right.
So it's just a much better relationship than it was in the past, where you know they treated reptile dealers kind of like other supply dealers. Like we need 100 light bulbs next week. Hey, we need 100 ball pythons next week. Hey, we need 100. Like they don't do that anymore. What's available is what's available. We're not trying to cut corners and get them subpar animals from somewhere else. Like, you know, we just give them our availability.
And with each growth spurt that you went through, did you totally replan a new strategy, or were you just like, hey, this is working, let's just see how far we could push it, you know?
No, I think we're always tweaking that, always reworking that. So we work off of a system called EOS. It's a framework for just doing business. And so like we said at the very beginning of the year, we set out like, hey, this is what this next year is going to look like. These are the things that we're going to accomplish. This is what revenue is going to look like. This is what profitability is going to look like. These are the things that are going to get us there, these new initiatives. So we set that out a year in advance. Then we set a 3-year goal. Like, hey, here's where we want to be in 3 years. Are we doing the things this year that are going to get us to that 3-year? And then all of that is tied back to our 10-year vision. So where do we want to be in 2030? And that's the goals that we set in 2020 for where we want to be in 2030. And then every quarter, me and the leadership team, we go off site to somewhere, usually like an office. We do a Century 21 real estate office has a conference room. We sit in there all day long and we talk about like, okay, are we still on track to get to where we want to be in 2030? Are we still on track to where we want to be in 3 years? Are we still on track to where we want to be at the end of this year? And strategize, how do we get there? So we're constantly tweaking that and reevaluating based on what happened in the last quarter, the last year, the last 3 years.
Right. Okay. Well, so since the beginning, then you didn't just plan on being a hobbyist frog guy when you started Josh's Frogs. You immediately knew it was going to be dry goods, supplies, caging, and everything else, right?
So very early on, the frog market I think is a little bit different than the snake market. Maybe there's some similarities, but like there's a lot that's involved in taking care of a frog. So you need a cage, you need substrates, you need live plants, you need live feeders, you need the bioactive stuff, like, and the animals. And like our hobby was very fragmented. You couldn't go anywhere and get all of that stuff. None of the big box stores were carrying any of that. And so very early on, we said, hey, if we can get more stuff in a box, that's cheaper for the customer and a lot cheaper for us to fulfill if we can do much more in a box. And so we kept raising our average order value up higher and higher by adding more stuff. So right now, like if you want to take care of a frog, like we can ship you the cage, the substrate, the live plants, the feeder bugs, the microfauna, the bioactive stuff, and the animal. Like we can ship it all from one location. And so yes, it's always been a marker of ours that like, hey, we're one of the few places that you can get everything all together. And that goes even in the larger reptile industry. Like right now, like we can ship you a box of crickets with a light bulb with a live plant. Like there just isn't anywhere in the world that can do those three things together in one box.
Right. Okay. I just want to hold on for a minute. I just got to pay some bills real quick. Okay. Listen, I got to mention Nerd, who just came on as a sponsor. Kevin pissed off a bunch of people last week by just offering a fucking opinion, and all the ball python people fucking freaked out. Okay, that they didn't even pay attention to what the basis of what he was saying was. So they hopped on the sponsors. They're actually taking the place of Liberty, who actually that COVID program is no more. So Nerd came on to take over that. But, you know, guys, if you need a socialized monitor, if you need, you know, any type of lizard, any type of gecko, any type of snake, listen, fucking Kevin's been doing this. Kevin is one of the people that have argued for reptile rights in front of Congress in like the 90s. Okay. So, listen, everybody just go pick up something from Nerd. Okay. If you're in New England, go visit Nerd. Okay. It's a cool place. I plan on going there this year. Also, you and I know this guy pretty well. Redline, like if you got to ship an animal or reptile, go with Redline. I mean, I use Redline for just shipping things out like posters and DVDs and all my other shit. There's shirts that I send out. So Redline basically gets the mic drop award for 2023 because Robin just came in and took over the entire space. And I mean, Robin's just a great guy. I'm going to be working with Robin in the future on a bunch of stuff. And I love him to death. I mean, that guy's everywhere now. And you know, if you're gonna ship a reptile, ship with Redline. Now, if you mention me and you type in the code Robin60, you'll get 60% off your first 2 shipments with Redline. And then after that, you could type in Fatman5, and then you get $5 off your next shipment, where it's already discounted through Redline. So definitely give Robin a try. I mean, I'm sure I don't got to tell you now. I mean, Robin pretty much is the only shipping company. I mean, he's the only one that I hear about on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else. So go to redlineshipping.com. He's been a friend of mine for a while. He's been a friend of yours for years, right?
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I think Kevin and Robin, like, I don't think our hobby realizes how much we really owe to those two guys for the things that they've done over decades to make our hobby what it is today. Like, it just pioneers the like behind the scenes stuff, doing stuff that not only supports their business, but supports our hobby, connecting people together, fighting for our opportunity to be able to keep these animals. Like, Robin and Kevin just are great people in our hobby. And definitely please support them.
Yeah, there's there's a divide right now between the reptile breeders and the pet people, right? So you're more focused towards the pet end of it, right? Because you're not producing $10,000 frogs and selling a $10,000 frog to some frog breeder in Alabama that just mortgaged his shack. You know, you're producing pet level stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And that's basically the main focus of Josh's Frogs, right? You don't care what the breeder people are doing.
I wouldn't say I don't care what they do, but yes, we're a little bit different in that regard. Like, we're definitely producing animals that, like, our target buyer is the soccer mom. Like, we looking for one mom, 8 to 12-year-old kids that want to keep a pet, and they're not interested in keeping a dog because of all the upkeep and stuff like that. That's our target market. That's who we're trying to reach. That's who we're trying to support. We're definitely when it comes to like some of the more rarer stuff, like that's just not our bread and butter. Like we're into producing a lot of animals and a lot of quality animals that allow people to be successful keeping them. So yeah, that is really ours.
Yeah. So you have no interest in the $15,000 ball python space. Right?
That space scares me a little. Like some of the frogs that we are dealing with, I would say the majority of the frogs that we're dealing with, 20 years later, they're the same price. Like they just have not changed price. Like I can't change the price. Like people would go mad. Like these frogs have been the same price. I'm seeing price lists from the 80s and 90s. A lot of these frogs, same exact price. Like it's just been the price is the price on a lot of these guys. Yes, that's a little bit different than what you would see in some of the other reptile niches where, hey, it's about creating this morph that's very expensive and the price is fluctuating constantly. So in our area, no, like that's just not our expertise.
Right. Okay. So you're happy with $1,100 sales as opposed to one $30,000 sale. Not saying that you would turn a $30,000 sale down. I'm saying that your niche is the $1,100 sales.
Correct. So like last week we shipped out just under 7,000 boxes. That's where we want to live. We want to sell a bunch of different stuff. Yep. But much smaller price point. Yep.
And what's your ratio versus live animal versus product?
So live animals, really close to 10% of our sales are live animals. And then the other 90% is the live plants, live bugs, and dry goods. So live plants is another 10% of our packages. And then the bulk of it, that 80%, that's light bulbs, cages, crickets, super worms, those kinds of things. Yep.
Right. Well, there's something I found out this year is the plant people are fucking crazy, right? I mean, they are. It's such a. It's such an area that I never even thought about.
Yeah.
That people are just their live plant needs are probably fairly equal to their bug needs or their whatever needs, substrate needs. It's I never even thought that it was that big a market. I thought you want a plant, you just put it in a pot and grow it yourself.
Yeah.
Or you go to Home Depot and get those brown ones that they sell there. I never even thought that there could be a market just for the live plants. Now
it is growing. Like it's pretty mind-blowing what the hobby is like right now, and it's just exploding when it comes to plants. There's a lot of similarities between the reptile industry and the plant industry. There are these rare plants that come out of nowhere, new color variations that people pay thousands of dollars for, and then it gets propagated enough and the price drops as more people work on it. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of the collector mentality. So you get these people in our hobby that like, hey, I want to get one of each of these types of things, and the same is true of the plant industry. They're just trying to collect as many as possible. So there's a lot of parallels in that. And then the cool thing is that I think a lot of times, because the reptile industry and especially the amphibian industry has been so into plants, we're seeing a lot of crossover in that. So we're seeing people that come in for the plants and then are like, oh man, like I can set up a terrarium with my plants in it. And then suddenly they're like, wait, there's animals that I can keep with those. So we're seeing a lot of crossover. It's just another opportunity for us to bridge the gap between people who keep the animals that we love and the people who don't keep them. And it's a good opportunity for us to engage those people. And we got to find more and more ways to do that as a hobby, to find people that might not know about how to keep some of the animals that we love.
Well, also, I would think Josh Frog's more of like a gateway company, right? Because you buy a frog, you buy a gecko or whatever from you guys, and then suddenly that kid will be like, oh, I didn't know that this gecko came in 45 different colors. Maybe I want to breed geckos, or lizards or lacerdas or whatever they want. So I would assume that you guys are kind of like an entry level, like just get the reptile people in, and then it's everybody else's job to kind of make it interesting for them.
Yeah. Like I think right now, like with our hobby sitting at like 3% of US population keeps these types of animals in their house. Like there is a world where that's 10%. Like we could say, hey, 1 out of 10 people keep an exotic pet in their right. house. We've got to find ways to reach out to those people. Yeah. Like that's a huge passion of mine. Like I I love to partner with other people in our industry. I feel like, hey, we're not fighting over that 3%. Like we're fighting for the other 7% that should be keeping the
Right.
types of animals that we keep. And so finding ways to work together with people to do that. Yeah, that's a huge passion of ours. That's something we're really focused on. Like, how do we reach people that aren't keeping these types of animals and showcase like, hey, how amazing is it to have something like that in your house? How easy is it to take care of those animals? And you're right, it does. It creates one animal creates this like opening of their eyes to like, oh my gosh, there's other animals that I could keep. Hey, this isn't as hard as I thought it was. Hey, this isn't as crazy as I thought it was. Hey, there are other people that keep these kinds of things and they're cool too. And it just snowballs from there. So yes, we're definitely focused on trying to reach people outside of our hobby and get them into our hobby.
Well, yeah, it's definitely more like a growth thing, because but believe me, I'm the same way. I want to reach people outside the hobby because the reptile people, especially, I'll talk about ball python people because that's what I know. I mean, it's such like a toxic hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even know how small this niche is, right? of ball pythons, right? Like they think that things matter. But like, if I go to my next door neighbor and say, hey, do you know who Justin Kabilka is? He's going to be like, who the fuck is he? Right. Like, but if I went to my neighbor who had kids and asked, do you know who Brian Barczyk was? She might know, because Barczyk was, his big thing was bringing in the kids and doing all things like that. So that's what I think the ball python community kind of lost sight of. They also lost sight of the fun of it, right? Like it's just so. And I'm not shitting on ball python people. My best friends are ball python people, but it's there's a difference between interviewing them and interviewing you. I'll tell you that right off the bat. Like you exude this positivity, whereas I think, look, I'm not going to say it's not an imbalance, right? Because it's an imbalance no matter how you cut it. It's an imbalance just to choose to do what you do. With all the insufferable mountains that you got to climb and all the agita that you probably got over the last 20 years. And, there's some in a person that makes them snap that says, I want to forego a paycheck every week and see if I can make this thing my world, this thing that I made. And I'm always interested in the ideas instead of the product, like right now, would you say that Josh's Frogs hit a point where this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it to sound like that, where you could just coast until you retire?
No. And the reason is because like where we want to get is so much bigger and larger and more impactful than where we are right now. Like our 2030 goal like involves us being a much larger company because we want to reach way more people. Like we have it in our 2030 goal that like, hey, we want to get to the point where we have 10% of US households keeping exotic pets. And we need a lot of partners to help us accomplish that. But like, that's where we're headed. Like, that's what we want to do. And so like, that seems insurmountable and it seems really big and it seems really hairy and it seems really audacious. Like, that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me excited. That's what keeps me from coasting is I want to get to the point where we've partnered with enough people and we figure it out. Like, how do we reach these people that are not engaged in our hobby, that don't even know that you could keep a ball python, that don't even know how beautiful some of these ball pythons are? Like, how do we reach those? How do we triple the market for ball pythons? How do we triple the market for snakes and lizards and frogs and that kind of stuff? That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what gets me excited.
And that's why, I mean, like whenever I see a snake discovery video, you guys are mentioned incessantly throughout that video, like the cage build-offs and all that other stuff. Do you think that at the end of the day, it's a more lucrative thing to partner up with people like Ed and Emily, people like the Reptarium or the Legacy, aquarium, than to partner up with like the biggest frog breeder in the country, like like a tree frog collective. Like I only mention them because That's where I bought frogs from when I first started doing it. And I love Spencer to death. I mean, he does awesome work. But do you guys partner up more with them, or would you rather like the mega brand name like Snake Discovery?
So I'll say we're willing and pursuing partnerships with everybody. Like that's how big and how ambitious our 2030 goals are. Like we can't afford to be picky. Like we need to find people, convince them, or align with them that like, hey, these are the ways in which we want to move forward. So like captive bred is a big thing for us. Like we want to work with people that want to do more captive bred. So if there's opportunities to work together and do more captive bred, we're more than willing to work together. Like our goal is to find as many partnerships as possible. So like we're just trying to increase the amount of partnerships. We are not to the point where we would say, hey, we can be picky about who we partner with. We really want to partner with everybody. So like we partner with bigger companies. We partner with really small companies. So single person companies, just one person in their house. We have a lot of those types of partners. And then we partner with large Fortune 100 companies like Petco and PetSmart and Pet Supplies Plus and those kinds of people as well too. We're just really not picky about like, hey, this competition thing, because we really see that, hey, we're not chasing that 3% pie. So 3% of the US population keeps exotic animals. Like, let's not fight over those 3%. Let's focus on how do we reach it to where it's 10% of people. Like once it's 10% of people, there's way more business than we could ever supply.
Right.
It's just insurmountable. There aren't 3 times as many ball pythons available right now as there is. Like we just couldn't do it. If we can get to 10%, we've got the issue of we just don't have enough supply. We're going to need everybody working together. And that's where we're focused.
Now, with a lot of your products, do you guys manufacture those products yourselves, or do you bring them in?
Great question. So Josh's Frogs branded products, I would say about 80% of those we manufacture in-house. So like all the substrates and all that kind of stuff, we're making that in-house. Some of the lighting stuff, we'll private label that with factories across the world, mainly in China, but we'll bring those in. But on the insect side, we culture a lot of insects, and then we work with a bunch of partners to do that. So we have a bunch of cricket farms that we work with across the country. We work with a bunch of people doing dubia roaches. We work with a bunch of people doing mealworms and superworms and those kinds of things, just because we can't produce enough of those to supply our customers. So we partner with a lot of different people that are doing that kind of stuff. On the animal front, we breed as many frogs as we possibly can, and lizards and snakes and that kind of stuff, and tarantulas and other pet bugs. We do that. But then we also partner with people in 2 different ways. One is our captive bred partnership. So we'll bring in animals. So we get these people that like, hey, my frog's bred, I've got 100 of them. Or, hey, my leopard geckos went crazy this season, I've got a bunch of extra. We'll buy those in wholesale, and then we'll sell those. And then we also do something called drop shipping, where we partner with people. We say, hey, like you are really good at breeding whatever you're breeding. We don't have enough to supply our customers. What we'll do is we'll sell your products on our website, and then we'll send you a label to ship out your animal. So we work with other partners. So anywhere from a single person that's breeding some snakes in their house to somebody that's got a staff of 15 people that's breeding some animals, we'll work with those types of people, because we're just trying to get enough supply to supply the other 7% of the people that aren't in our hobby yet, that we're trying to engage and bring them into our hobby. So yeah, we'll work with people on our products in multiple different ways.
Right. Okay. Well, you kind of ruined my next question then, because I was going to ask you, who would you think your biggest competition is right now? But you don't seem like a guy that looks at it as competition. You look at it as people just trying to get that other 7%.
Yeah, I think our competition is entertainment. So our competition is the movie theaters. Our competition is vacations. Our competition is anything that people are engaged in outside of their work that takes up their time, that considers their hobby. So like if it's going to the movies, if it's playing games, that's our competition. Like we have to prove that, hey, we're a better alternative to the entertainment that they're filling their brains with. So we got to prove like, hey, these things are easy to take care of. It won't become a chore for you to do. Hey, these things are engaging. Hey, you'll love this. Hey, it connects you to conservation projects. We got to convince people to do that. No, I don't see, like in our hobby, like I said before, like we don't have enough animals and supplies to satisfy the 10% of the U.S. population that eventually will keep exotic pets. We can't afford to have competition. We all got to work together. So no, I don't see anybody as competition. Like we got to work together. We got to figure this out.
So there's no meetings where like Josh's Frogs are like, man, we got to slit the throat of the bioactive dude, or anything like that, right? Like,
no. Nope. I think Bio Dude Josh, he's a really great guy. I wish him much success. I think like there's a future where his business doubles, my business doubles, and we still don't have enough to supply all the people that need that kind of stuff. And so I've experienced an almost doubling before. Like a doubling sounds good. Like, hey, that's great. That will almost kill you. Doubling sounds good, but that's not enough. Like we need everybody doubling, and then we need some more on top of that.
Right. Yeah. Imagine doubling in it and still not being able to produce what you
need. I know.
Produce.
What a crazy world that would be.
Well, and also like when you were talking about how you have like an 80-person staff right now, right?
Yeah, 87, I think is what we're at right now.
87, so almost 100 really. So there's things that nobody even thinks about that comes along with 87 people coming. Like you got to get an HR department. You have to get, insurance for everybody that works for you. You have to get all this other shit. And I'm positive that most people don't even think about that. That's like the imbalance that I was talking about before. Like you got to be a little bit crazy because how much of your day-to-day job is actually working with animals versus administrative stuff?
So the only animal stuff that I get to do is the really fun stuff. So like somebody will say, hey, we got a clutch of these things, or these things are hatching. Like I get to go and check that out and be excited with everybody. Like that's pretty much the extent of my animal engagement in any given week. Like that's about it. Like I get to see the really cool stuff that people have worked really, really hard on and people have accomplished in our business. I get to celebrate with them. That's really the extent of my animal stuff. The rest of my time is really, really tied to creating these partnerships and finding people to work with us and integrating them into our process to support our customers and help us reach more customers as well too. So yeah, unfortunately I get less and less out of the animals. And so that's why I'm back to keeping animals at home again. So that
was going to be my next question. Yeah. Like what do you keep at the house?
So I have a red-footed tortoise, and then I have 3 Philomedusa bicolor in my son's room, and then we have a bulldog. So those are the only animals I have right now. My son is 10, and him and I are doing a local reptile show once a month. The Taylor, Michigan Reptile Show. So that's my contribution to our trade show circuit. So I do that with him every month. And we're to the point where we're ready for our next pet. And I'm sure in a few more months, it'll be the next pet. So I think we're going to fill out his room here very shortly with a bunch of different animals.
Well, speaking of shows, you guys do all the major shows, right? The Tinleys and St. Louis and Daytonas.
We do this year. I think we're at 80 some shows this year.
80 some. So you're still doing local shows on top of that with Josh's Frogs.
Correct. Yep. So we'll do all over the country. So anywhere there's a show, we'll do. We try to do as many shows as possible. And then, yes, we do some local shows. So usually the local shows are 1-person shows. So like I do the Taylor show with my son, who's 10 years old. So I'll do that show. So we do a bunch of local shows, but then, we'll be traveling all over the place. So it's weird. Sometimes it works out. Like this last weekend, there were no shows, or this weekend, there's no shows. And then next weekend, there's 4 shows. And so, we're flying or driving all over the country almost every weekend.
So you probably have a person that's just scheduling shows.
Correct. There's a trade show coordinator that works on the internal process. So like, hey, what do we need for each show? How big is each show? What should we be taking to these shows? What can we take to the show? What can't we take to the show? They worked with the show coordinators to be like, okay, like our freight is coming. Where does it need to go? When can it arrive? Here's all the logistics that books all the plane tickets and books the hotels and all that kind of stuff. And then, communicates to the rest of the team like, hey, we need somebody to do this show, or hey, this person had to back out of this show. We need to find another person. So there's some person that has that. I would almost say horrible job. That's the kind of job that I would hate doing, but like that's what Thomas does for us.
Well, and the thing I noticed from the videos that I saw, like I haven't been to shows in a couple of years. There's more dry goods and everything else, supplies for sale at Josh's Frogs tables than there are frogs. Now, is that just because frogs are harder to ship or harder to move, or is it because the dry goods is where the profit is for every show?
Great question. So part of it is a little bit just optics, like a animal doesn't take as much space as a bag of bedding. So like a bag of bedding is like the equivalent of like 3 or 4 deli cups, and we've got a lot of bedding. So it's just a space thing that happens. And then the other part of it is that we tend to be one of the few places actually doing the dry goods. So there's a lot of animals in the show. There isn't as a lot of dry goods, and so we're just trying to match, like, hey, what's the need of the people they're there at the show.
Right. Well, and I'm just curious, like what do you just like to do that doesn't involve this company? Like you remind me of like a 25-year-old kid running the startup that is just so psyched about his company that's all he lives. Now, obviously, you have to have, time for the family, time for the kids, and all that. But what's a hobby of yours?
Great
that
question.
Doesn't have anything to do with this company?
Sweet. I guess I would say 2 things. So I'm actually turning 44 here in a couple hours. So I'm not 25
nice.
anymore.
Oh,
So my birthday's tomorrow. There's 2 things that take up my time. One is I'm trying to stay young, so I'm trying to work out, and the easiest way I found to work out is play basketball. So I'm still playing pickup basketball at 44 years old. Oftentimes I'm the oldest guy there. Sometimes there's one guy that's older than me. So I like to do that. And the second thing is I've got a big family. So we took in 2 foster kids 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in July. And so I've got 5 kids, 3 biological, 2 foster kids. And so I'm redoing some of the younger ages again. So I'm 44 and I have a 2-year-old foster girl and then a 7-year-old foster girl. And then my kids are older than that. So like that's what I do outside of work is run around chasing kids, putting on diapers, and catching some frogs in our retaining pond, and catching the salamanders underneath of our deck, and doing a lot of that stuff. And then trying to get out and play basketball whenever I can.
Yeah. Just so you know, that's gonna be how you break your hip. All right, it's fucking playing pickup games of basketball at 44.
That's what my wife says. That's exactly what my wife says when I complain about being hurt.
yeah, that and when you have a heart attack because you're playing frisbee with your 8-year-old. All right, like that's crazy.
I've actually got a knee brace on because we played pickleball last weekend, Memorial Day weekend. I'd never played before, and it was the side-to-side movement of pickleball, and I'm like injured from playing pickleball with my wife, who's my age, and my parents, who are in their 70s.
Dude, that pickleball thing is such a bullshit sport, right? Like my father was like a handball guy, right? Yeah. And then you play handball, especially like growing up in the Bronx, you're playing one wall, it's brutal on the knees and everything. And I was making fun of him because he was talking about pickleball, right? And turns out he went to play pickleball and he dislocated his knee just playing pickleball, and I'm just like, dude, staying healthy will kill you. Okay. So the pickleball thing, I just never got it. Number one, I think it's a stupid name, so that's why it's not going to catch on. Like I would not tell my friends I'm going to play pickleball. But like 8 guys in my family think that's the greatest thing since sliced bread right now. They're like, we're going to play pickleball. There's courts made for just that now.
Yep.
So yeah, the pickleball thing is it's weird, man.
Chris, you're in the minority though. Like everybody else thinks it's great and amazing, and the best thing is sliced bread.
Well, yeah, but see, the nice thing is, I don't know if Robert told you, I got my leg cut off last year. So now I'm like, thank God this leg is cut off and I won't be tempted to go play pickleball, right? I'm like that. I don't think they make that for people in a chair or with a fake leg. So I'm good, Now, you already said that you got a plan up until 2030, right?
Yep.
So what's the what's the plan for the next 6 years?
Ooh, great question. So the plan is to partner with more and more people to reach more and more people. So partnerships is a big part of our plan getting to 2030. So partnering with large companies, partnering with medium-sized companies, and partnering with single people doing really cool things. That's our plan. That's how we're going to get there, is partnering with those people. So allowing them to share in some of the logistics that we've built and allowing them to reach our customers. Like that's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to reach more people through 2030. That's the the main part of that plan. It involves doing some other stuff for us logistically. So it means opening up some other fulfillment facilities. So we're here in Michigan shipping, and we want to be out shipping out west. So it means opening some facilities out that way. But like just really diving into these partnerships and then allowing to supply our customers with more and more stuff and to reach more customers that way.
Right. I would imagine that would be the attractive thing for like the young guy, you know, coming into breeding, because you guys have a nationwide reach, right? So you have the reach and the ability to push his stuff out the door.
Yep.
That would probably be a benefit, you know, to them more so than it would be to you. But I could see where, you know, when you hit an inflection point, you need people like that, you know, to maintain supply or demand,
Yep.
rather.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and it shares the load. It's a win-win solution. So, you know, when it comes to like our dropship program, like we pay higher than wholesale. So it's an option for somebody who's like, man, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find enough places to sell all my animals. I'm hitting the shows that I'm hitting. I'm listing them on Morph Market. I'm listing them on my website. I'm on Facebook trying to sell them. But like, hey, I'd really like to sell 10 or 15 or 20 more of those animals. Like we're a perfect opportunity to say, hey, like let us list those animals on our site. When they sell, we send you a label, you ship it out, and then we pay you on Friday when
Right.
it out. Like it's just a win-win opportunity for them to make sure that they're going to sell all the animals that they have and not have to just wholesale them all out. So it increases margin for them as well too, and then it gives us a customer. So somebody buys their ball python, their leopard gecko, their bearded dragon. We have somebody now that we know has that type of animal, and we say, hey, we got feeder insects. Hey, we've got frozen rodents. Hey, we've got the substrates you need. Hey, we've got the new caging. And hey, are you ready for another animal? We've got these other animals as well too. So it's an opportunity for a win-win for both of us.
I could just imagine what one of your warehouses look like, right? Like it has to be this massive Costco-sized building that they just have forklifts going back and forth every day, sending out shit. Yeah, that's unbelievable. Well, do you have anything coming up that you want to tell people about?
So for us, it's always about new and exciting stuff. So I would recommend that people check us out either on Facebook or on Instagram. We're always posting what's new and upcoming. Pet bugs is a big thing for us. So we're launching some captive red millipedes, doing a much more tarantulas, doing some of the vampire crabs. Like the pet bugs has really been a explosion for us and something we're doing. And then on the animal front, we're just adding more and more partners. So it's an opportunity for people to purchase from a place that they trust, us, and know that they're not going to get scammed, but also an opportunity for us to partner with other people and help them sell their animals to people that are getting into the hobby, that are new to the hobby, and want a really cool pet.
Man, so you're actually embracing the bug people, huh?
Oh, yes. We love the bug people. We love
Oh my God, those people are so weird. They're weird people, man. Good luck with that. All right. Jesus. All right. I would imagine you have a fairly big customer support team also, right?
Correct. So we have a general customer support team. So it's the people that will help with like, hey, where's my order? Hey, I'm having trouble logging. Like we have a team that does that. And then we use our curator. So the people that are taking care of the animals, they provide the support on like the animal care side of it too as well. So we push customer service out to a broad part of our business, our employees. So there's a lot of people that are involved in customer service.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine. Jesus Christ. Okay, well that's dude, you dropped a lot of knowledge here today, right? So I want to thank you for coming on. We're at about an hour now. So just tell people how they could get in touch with Josh's Frogs.
So check us out online. I bought all the misspellings of Josh's Frog. So even if it's hard to spell, you should still land on our website. But check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and then our YouTube channel as well too. We try to create as many videos as possible that make keeping the animals we love really easy. So we got a bunch of how-to articles and that kind of stuff. And then we're doing a podcast as well too. So check it out.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me on. It was good to talk with you tonight.
You too, man. I'm going to throw you backstage for a minute. Just hang out for 3 minutes.
Sounds good.
I'll be right back with you. Okay.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Josh's Frogs. It's Josh's Frogs on everything. All right. Go subscribe. Friend request. Do whatever you got to do to be on Josh's Frogs feed. So thanks again, brother. I appreciate you. Hang out for 3 minutes, all right?
We'll do, man.
You got it, brother. Holy shit, man. I mean, that guy knows a lot, huh? Like, I mean, that guy knows a lot. Thanks for everybody for sticking around. That was cool as hell, man. I really like that guy. Listen, if you need a PVC rack, all right, there's really nobody else other to go to than Chris over at Sea Serpents. Chris at Sea Serpents has been doing this forever. I mean, he's the guy that, like in the early 2000s, was driving from Florida to Seattle just to deliver racks to somebody. Okay, so he's still just as good as he was back in 2002. We bought our first Sea Serpents racks in 2009, I believe, and he drove all the way up to New York, or not New York, but we actually went to that crappy with Hamburg show, all right, and we met him there, and he he hooked us up, and so I love Chris. We had about 20 Sea Serpents racks and incubators in the shop when we were doing this full time. And go to seaserpents.com and order a rack or an incubator today. Guys, thank you again for hanging out with me, me and Josh and Sammy. And thanks to my new girl in the chair, Shauna. Shauna kicked ass tonight. So again, don't bother with the hashtag pay Shauna. It's not going to happen. All right. It's just not going to happen. So I will see you guys tomorrow night. I think I'm going to be on the lamest again. And then we have the Sunday Fatman Live Hot Girl episode where we'll have Molly Patton from Chimera. She's Chase Patton's cousin. Apparently managing ball pythons is in the blood in that family. So she's really the whole reason that Chimera could do the things that they do, because they got Molly taking care of everything. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Then don't forget, next Sunday, we got my one black friend and my one white friend, where we're just going to have a little bit more fun with Is It Racist, and movie reviews and TV reviews. So I will see you guys tomorrow, probably. All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks again for sticking around for Josh and Sammy and me and Shauna. I appreciate it. Bye-bye, guys.